Ken Carson just dropped more chaos, so you already know what time it is. Cooking up some beats, man. I always think Ken Carson got the beat. He be having the best beats. I'm not gonna lie, he be having some of the best beats out of that genre of music. So yeah, let's get straight into it. First sound, super simple. 1, 2, 3, 4 notes in this whole thing. It's just a small loop repeated. Sounds like this. Serum, Octane Serum Banks. Sunboy got the best banks for the best sounds for anything Ken Carson, anything Destroy Lonely, anything Playboy Carti. If you're looking at the more ragey songs like G Wagon or something like that, Sunboy for sure. Just EQing out the lows and then a little shaper box. So without it, with it, it's just a little bit of texture. The second sound is a little lead, really. I don't know whether you classify this as a lead or an accent, but it's just something small, really. Again, Serum, Sunboy, Octane, Serum Bank this time. No effects on this, raw sound. It just comes in package like that. Next sound is, this sound is just the first pattern again, but just a different sound. It's kind of like a bell. Is it a bell? It's a cluck, but it's kind of a bit like a bell. It's quite screechy. Sounds like this. For these type of beats, you want that screechiness, so I just added crystallizer basic D. You see it says default. I just turned the mix down a little bit, and then a little bit of distortion. Well, a lot of distortion, really, not a little bit. I didn't turn it down. I thought I turned it down, but I didn't. But you need that for that screechiness. They need to be kind of screechy, because my reference for this was Evolution. If you heard that one, that was what I was going for, really, and that beat's it is quite screechy. Then for the next sound is similar to the first pattern, but it's just less notes, really. So instead of 3 notes, it's 2 notes. It goes like this. Halftime on this one, on the quarter setting. So without it, it was like this. If you want to do something like that, it will probably work as well, but I decided to add halftime. Excuse me. EQ just to cut out some of the lows, because you know how halftime be, and then shaper box preset. Again, I don't make any of these presets. These are all just presets that I've downloaded on the internet. So without the shaper box, it was like that, and then it just adds that extra bit of texture. So it's like this. For the last sound in the melody, you can go for another like typical sounding lead here if you want to, if you feel like you're missing that bit of melodic source, but I felt like I had all of the melodic elements, really, but it just needed a little bit extra depth, so I just added this. It's just a filler sound, really. Oh, and I forgot, I've not been showing the presets, but literally Fragile Serum Bank, Sunboy, Fragile Serum Bank, Sunboy, Extreme Serum Bank, Sunboy. This is literally all of the sounds in this are from Sunboy. Then I put all of the melody elements together and put them on a bus. I use Murder Melodies. I use this plugin all the time, just mostly for this, because it just adds, I don't know what it does when you pitch stuff up and down, but I feel like it just sounds better than if you normally do it like in the piano roll. So before it was like this. Oh, hold on. Silly me. Before it all sounded like this. So it's a bit spooky, but I added the Murder Melodies down to pitches down 2 semitones, and it sounds like this. I think it's much better. EQ, just again taking out the lows, and then fresh air just to add that further bit of screechiness. I cannot stress how important that screechiness is. These beats are super screechy, bro. Like it sounds kind of like, it just sounds like metal. It sounds like not metal as in the genre of music, like literally the material. It sounds like metal clashing together sometimes, these beats. So bit of fresh air. But if you don't have fresh air, you can just EQ the highs really. And that is literally it for the melody. For the drums, basic little 88, just spam a hi-hat and stuff like that. I added distortion, turn the mix down a little bit just to make it pop a little bit more. Then for the snares, I just layered these two snares together. Wait, let me show you. Hold on. This one, which is like a chop snare, and then this one, just a basic clap snare type of thing going on. And it sounds like, wait, they're both on? Yeah, it sounds like this. Nothing crazy. Little triplet thingy here just to add that trap element, because this album does seem to have a bit of inspiration from some like older trap music. Obviously, it's all of Ken Carson's music is obviously inspired by that to an extent, but more so than usual. Then this little other snare. Nothing, literally super basic. Then again, this one. Nothing crazy going on here at all. Then again, open hat, nothing crazy, like super basic. Excuse me, man. Nothing crazy at all. Super basic. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering where I get all of these, because obviously I've got all these are all from A Great Chaos. Go to, you can't even see it on these ones, but all these A Great Chaos Extended, Project X, Teen X, Lost Files 4 is all the Baby X Prod and Bang Tozy. I don't know how you pronounce that, but the More Chaos one is probably out by the time I post this video, but at the time of recording it's not actually out. But that's the plug. If you want to do any type beat from an album, see if they've got the drums from the album, because they be dropping that shit like so fast. They dropped the I Am Music one on the day. Jump Out, they dropped it on the day. But yeah, so this is obviously the Lose It 808. I've got a couple of patterns going on here, but it's mostly the mixing that's important for this bit. But it sounds like this. First pattern is just the same note. Second pattern is also the same note, but just with a couple of extra hits in there. And then for the third and final pattern, bit more variation just to break it up, because you don't want, if you're playing the same note on an 808 that hits, that's like super subby, if that makes sense, a lot of sub, then if you keep playing the same note, it starts to drone. It gets annoying. I'm not gonna lie, it gets annoying. So I recommend you have some note changes somewhere. And that's that. Super simple. But it's mostly this element, all of this stuff. So I've got it on, it's not even on full velocity, which you should do. But when I was making the beat, I didn't have the velocity on max. So that plays a part, but I didn't want to end up fucking up the mix because I was happy with the mix. So I just left it boost on 2%. I rarely find that going above 2% actually helps when it comes to an 808, but down to discretion. Little boost here on the middle, because on the mids, because at first it was like this. I'm not a big fan. It's kind of, what I was saying earlier, where it's quite drony, it's super subby. So I was trying to add some harmonics. So I also added Saturn 2 Faster Master O preset. Didn't change anything, and then it sounded like this. Already better. Then I added distortion, the B setting, the B side. Turned the mix down in there, and then I turned the mix down on this knob as well. Also, obviously, I've got the what's it called? I got the equalizer. I guess this is an equalizer. I got the EQ on pretty high, really. You can only go up to 18, so 11.4 is pretty high. And then in the end, it will sound like this. Super loud, super distorted. On here, I've got, you can ignore that. It's just a meter. Wave shaper on its basic setting, and if you press this, it'll bring up this bit. Got the preamp, like pretty much all the way up on max. The mix down on 23%, pretty low, and then post gain from 100% to 95% gives it, I don't know, it just gives the whole thing a bit of extra crunch. So the drums at least, if we just look at the drums without wave shaper, it's got a bop to it, but it doesn't really hit particularly hard. Not for that chaos sound, not for that Ken Carson super distorted. It's not that. Add the wave shaper. Much better if you ask me. Then altogether, it obviously sounds like this. Sorry, man. But yeah, nothing crazy going on. As for the arrangement, you can obviously have like a bit of an intro. I don't know, maybe you want to just get rid of the drums and have like an intro kind of like this, or stutter it at the start. I don't know. A lot of the beats on this album, they kind of just go, so I just let it go. Even the fade out, I think, is unnecessary, really. You can just have it end. A lot of them just end. But because I'm gonna post this beat on YouTube as a type beat, they sell better when you have a fade at the end. So I put a fade at the end, but you can just have it end there, and it's gonna sound just as good, maybe even better. But yeah, that's it. That's how you make a Ken Carson more chaos type beat. If the tutorial was helpful, drop a comment, subscribe. Check out my other videos too. I'm gonna try and upload on here more consistently, because I feel like I don't know, man. I've got a little bit of sauce. I got a little bit of sauce to give out to the people, but it's hard to stay consistent with these, because it does take quite a bit of effort. But drop a comment, leave a like, subscribe. Shoot me a message on Instagram or on Discord if you need help with anything. Literally, if I have the answer, I'm more than happy to help. Other than that, enjoy the album. Peace, man.